The other day I was washing dishes and loading the dishwasher, and a blue ceramic plate slipped through my hands and it broke. I was thankful I didn't get cut, and I threw it in the trash. If something's broken, why save it, right? And I was thinking about the month of Tammuz is a time of brokenness. It's a month where the Luchot HaBrit were broken. It's a month where Jerusalem, the walls of Jerusalem, were broken. And if you think of the mazal of Tammuz, the sign of the month of the crab, the sartan, something unique about this animal is that its shell gets broken. There's a period where it's exposed, and then a new shell gets built. There's just an idea of brokenness involved in the mazal and the sign of the month of Tammuz as well. What's interesting when you think about these stone tablets that were thrown down by Moshe Rabbeinu on the 17th of Tammuz is that they're still saved. We know luchot v'shirei luchot menachot ba'aron. The Gemara tells us that the broken luchot and the new second set of luchot are saved in the holy golden ark. They're forever saved. We also have the idea of breaking when we remember the breaking of Jerusalem, if it's the Chorban of the Beit HaMikdash, which of course happens on Tisha B'Av, but also the idea of breaking, the breaking of the walls. We commemorate this breaking idea with our own breaking. Under the chuppah, every time a Jewish couple gets married, we break a cup, and often it's saved to create some kind of artistic keepsake item, some sentimental work to save the idea of the brokenness. There's something about saving what's broken. Even some people might collect the discarded shell of other shells, as well as a crab shell that might be discovered. It can be saved. Why are we saving what's broken? I think there's a deep message here that we can grab onto. That Tammuz is teaching us that broken things are saved because they have a certain sanctity, because we can even cherish them as being reminders of our growth process. Rabbi Nachman Breslev famously says, if you believe you can break, you can ruin, you can mess up, then believe that you can fix. There's this idea of a growth mindset that Carol Dweck talks about in her book Mindset, that we don't see failure as being one and done. You make a mistake, you fail at something, and then it means you are a failure. There's this idea of becoming, of a process of growth, and brokenness and failing is a part of that process. Similar to how we build muscles, and we lift weights, and then you have these micro tears in your muscle. When your muscle is healing, repairing itself, that's when the growth of new muscle really happens. There's sometimes a need for breaking in order for growth to happen. And just like you imagine that crab without a shell, without that hard exoskeleton, there's a sense of vulnerability there. Researcher Brene Brown talks a lot about this idea of vulnerability. There's no courage without vulnerability. In order to grow, in order to expand, we need a certain courage to be vulnerable, to be broken. And when we look at Tammuz with these eyes of Emunah, we can see this greater message that we can reframe a misstep, a feeling of brokenness, as a stepping stone in a greater journey to maturing and developing as individuals and also as a nation. It reminds me of a song by Ruchama Ben Yosef. For those who are familiar, there's a link in the article. A song that she calls Yehi Ratzon. It's a prayer. May it be your will. And the words go, Yehi Ratzon shelo efchad ligdol. May it be your will, Hashem, that I won't be afraid to grow. Lizhor kmo perach bamidbar, to be radiant like a flower in the desert. Lahaskim lihishaver, lichov, to agree to break and to be in pain. She recognizes that it's part of the process, that brokenness, pain, vulnerability is part of growing to being a greater self as an individual again, and also as a nation. We've seen so much heartache and so much brokenness and so much pain, and we've also seen so much beauty and love and growth. When we collect all of our broken pieces, my blue ceramic plate included, and appreciate that there is beauty in the mosaic that we can create from all the brokenness, and see the mosaic in our lives.